Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Teacher Hadid, and this is Teacher Amna. We are live from YouTube channel. Welcome to Virtual Language Academy. And today our session is about online teaching. Because of this COVID-19, everyone is teaching online, and since there are a lot of teachers who have never experienced online teaching before, so they face a lot of problems. Sometimes students are not serious as well. So today in this teachers talk, we are going to discuss some problems that we face in our online teaching and in our online classes, and we are going to solve that problem with our discussion. So let's begin.
Hello, Sir Hadid. This
Yes,
is Teacher Amna. So, as we are going to talk about the problems during the live session, the first problem, and which is very common these days, like network issue. During the lockdown situation, everyone is online and we got stuck sometimes. So, the class are not being properly conducted. So, suggesting what we can do for that.
yes. Before this online session, when I shift to online session, I was facing the same problem. Because, like I told you, in Pakistan, we have horrible internet. Sometimes, we have load shedding problems as well. So what I usually do is I have this chargy device. There are a lot of devices as well, like Zongbolt, or I think there's a device Jazz is using as well. There's a white pipe device as well. But I feel personally that this chargy device is a very, you can say, easy to afford. It cost me like only 2000 rupees, and in 1500 there's a complete 1 month package. So I feel this device is much easier for me to use. So as a teacher, we should have this 4G device, and this device can help you to be active all the time, even if you have no internet, or even if there's a load shedding in your area. So you can easily continue your classes, and your class will not be affectful because of internet or load shedding.
Yeah,
So
definitely,
this is
I'm
the
gonna buy
easiest
this.
solution. Yes, you should buy. And other thing is, like, when students are facing the problem, then how can we overcome the problem? So I have some students, and they were facing the same problem. So what I did is, I told them to download, to have some internet package. And usually sometimes we can also suggest students, like, tell to your family members, like, at the time you're having the classroom, tell everyone that not to use internet. That's a sacrifice
Yeah,
the family has to do. If someone of your family member is having a class, then
typical
try to
Pakistani
tell them
problem.
that not to watch, yeah, tell them that don't watch YouTube, or don't watch a movie, don't use Facebook. Just give me half an hour so I can continue my class. After that, you can watch. So we have to discuss this advice to the students, so they can do the same thing at their home. And that's how they can use better internet. And sometimes I also face the same problem. Like, there was internet was fine, but since they are using a video call, their video was on. That is why the internet consumption was high.
Mm.
So if the students are facing the same problem, everything is fine, but still there's a low connectivity, you can always advise your student to to turn off the video camera, so they can
Okay.
they can just listen to your voice. And that's how you can maintain a better internet solution. But on the other hand, I would say that that's the disadvantage of having online classes in developing countries. In countries like Pakistan, we always have either load shedding or internet
No
problem. So
proper.
it's a part of the,
Yeah.
we have to still manage it.
Okay.
There will be
Well,
good days and there will be horrible days.
yeah, definitely. Well, there is another question. Like, well, while we are having the physical classes, like the students are appearing in front of you, but during online session, what happens? They don't pretend or behave like a formal student. So, how we can make them more, more professional and formal?
Um, Same, sometimes it happens as well. But I have to ask you one thing. What do you mean by formal? Like, what do you mean by they
Um,
are not pretending like
Not
formal?
from like sometimes they are making funny voices and commenting to others and background noises. So this is some kind of like childish behavior. So how we can avoid it?
Funny story. Yes, I will tell you one thing. I think almost 2 to 3 months ago, I was taking an online class. So it was a new batch, and everyone was new. It was like a second class, and I didn't know them very well. They didn't know me very well as well. So there was one student, and he was keep burping. It was I was having I opened my video camera, and
Same thing
rest of them,
happened.
their video camera was off. So there was one student, and who was keep burping. After 2 minutes, there was that sound. So I was very irritated. So what should I do? What I did is I muted them all, and I spoke something. Once I delivered my lecture, then I unmuted them and I asked them questions one by one. So that's also something you can do to have a great class control. Sometimes like when you're in a actual class, where so what you do is if someone is irritating, if a student is not listening to you, you feel like you are losing the class control. What you do is you sit with the student and you talk with them. So in online class you can also do the same thing, like you can always mute that person, kind of punishment. Like if he's not behaving very well, just mute him. So he knows that the next time if he does the same thing, yeah, he will be muted again. So you can also mute him to a kind of punishment as well. Or second is after the session you can talk with him. Just like sometimes in our school or in our colleges, in our classrooms, when the students are they are not performing very well, what we do is we sit with them separately and we talk with them, like why you're not
Mm-hmm.
performing very well, why you're not taking
Okay.
interest in the classroom. We can also do the same thing,
Yeah,
like after the
perfect.
session call the student directly and tell them, like if you're not taking the class seriously, or if you are opening the camera and using cell phone, or if you are using a new tab, you are taking the class but you have a different tab and you're using internet, you're doing something else. So what will happen is it will be your loss. Class will move forward, you will stay behind. It will be a loss for you. You will waste your time. So in this way you can do a little bit counseling with him and then he'll be fine. I feel like in my experience, motivation is a very important thing. If a student is
Mm-hmm.
not participating in the class, motivate them. Motivation works better than punishment. It works better than everything. So you can
Mm-hmm.
always motivate them. I would suggest that always start your class with a little bit of motivation and then start your
Yeah.
lesson. So even when the students are non-serious, they will be motivated. So I do the same thing, like when I go to the classroom, sometimes I give them a little bit of motivational speech, or sometimes I play a motivational speech as well. Or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I watch motivational speakers and I try to copy them. I try to copy, say the thing that I have heard. I try to apply the same thing in my classroom with little bit of addition. You can also do the same thing.
Okay. Well, what happened today?
Anything
Like,
else?
yeah, there was a student. He just turned off his camera and
There's
he was
always one.
pretending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of
Mm-hmm.
course, the
Yeah.
one. So he was pretending like there was a network issue, but in actually, he just intentionally, he turned off his camera in order to avoid me, or like he might be confused. So at that situation, what we can do?
I will tell you one thing. Like as a language teacher, I analyze that it happens with the students. There's something in language that is not in any other subjects. That is not in academics, which is
Hmm.
hesitation, and students get shy. Students they never shy in maths class or in chemistry class. But when it comes to language, especially when it comes to English, they get shy. When you tell them to give a speech, they lose their confidence. They are very confident people, they have great confidence. But when it comes to English language, oh my God, they cannot do anything. They cannot say a single word.
Yeah.
So that's why happened, because so their self defense mechanism is started. And they do what they do is that their brain is protecting them from hesitation, from embarrassment. So they do these kind of things. Some students, they try to be funny. So they try to they try to hide their hesitation. They try to hide their fear by making fun, by making
Yeah.
jokes in the classroom. Others, they turn off the camera and they do anything stupid, anything to avoid
Hmm.
speaking.
Bribing
So
the
the same thing,
teachers.
if
Yeah.
you have to judge that if a student is losing the confidence. Yes. So while let's say that you are in a classroom and you're in an online classroom, there's a Zoom
Hmm.
session, and you have like four or five students, maybe 10 students in the classroom, right? And one student is he's you feel like he's losing the confidence, or he's not taking interest in the classroom. Then you have a choice: either you stop the class and you start motivation. You do a little bit of
Yeah.
motivation, talk with the person directly. For example, I have a student. I had a student in the classroom, and he was from interior Sindh. So he did not have that kind of exposure of internet. And so once he joined online class, he was very shy. He was feeling a lot of hesitation. So what I did, I realized that now he's not feeling well. He is trying to avoid something. He's trying to mute
Yeah.
the call,
Sometimes.
hiding the camera. So what
Hmm.
I did is I talked with him for a few minutes. I stopped the class and I just talked with him normally, like what you are doing. Tell me about your family, or what's happening in your neighborhood. I talked with him. for a few minutes, and then realized that he felt comfortable. And then I talk with other students, and I ask some questions, and encourage students to talk with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So once they, once they talk with each other, they become like a family. And then I start my class. So it will happen first 1 or 2 times, but once they get comfortable, then they can continue.
Then
So when you have an initial class, like you start your class, it is like fifth or fourth class, this kind of problem will have. But after 1 week, once the student become comfortable, once they create some sort of bonding, then it will never happen again. So you can
yes.
also do the same thing. Try, instead of focusing your entire classroom on the student, instead of focusing on his shyness, instead of giving him more fear, you can encourage other students to talk with him. For
Yeah.
example, like you're having a session, you're having a English language, you're teaching something, like maybe let's say that you're teaching present simple, and one of the students he's not saying anything. So what you do
Mm-hmm.
is you talk with let's say that you have a student who is a student A, and he's losing the confidence. There's a student B in the classroom, and he's good with, he has adjusted himself, and you feel like this is the student B is more confidence, has more confidence. So what you do is you talk with the student B, and you tell student B to ask questions from student A, and you tell student A to ask questions from student B. So once they talk with each other, they feel like they're feeling better. So that's the something you do. You can try to create student to student interaction in the classroom, or sometimes you can take individual class, like sometimes take
Mm-hmm.
group class, sometimes take individual class. That will also give the students some sort of you can say comfortable feelings.
Well, I totally get it. And thank you so much. You
Getting my
have
point?
been the best way you guided me. So
But
definitely,
again, in the
and
same thing, you have to judge it by your experience. Like once you sit in the classroom,
yes, we cannot judge any. We
so
cannot
once you
treat
sit in the
everyone
classroom,
as
you
a.
have to make a quick decision. For sometimes what I do is sometimes when I feel like I because of one student. Yeah,
Yes,
so when you
listening.
feel like because of one student, the entire class is being disturbed. So you can make a judgment call. Sometimes you focus on the topic, and you try to what you do is you tell the student, like right now, if you don't understand anything, don't worry, just go with the flow. And after this session, I will give you a separate session. You can say that,
Okay.
and for the sake of other students who are very active, who are participating more, you
Mm-hmm.
can focus on them. You can finish your lesson, and once you finish your lesson, you can give that student a separate call, and teach him in a
Yeah, I
separate way.
totally get
So
it.
you can that's how they can go with the flow, that's how they can work together. That's how you can avoid that avoid harming the entire lesson.
Okay, you just solved my biggest issues that I've been facing, and thank you so much for your guidance. Okay.
All right, what we are going to do is this is the first session we have, like we are it just kind of like
Mm-hmm.
experiment. So tomorrow, we will I will try my best. I have a better idea,
Mm-hmm.
that how about like once in a week we can have this teachers talk session.
Why
And
not?
what I'm going to do is, like, we can discuss different lessons. Like let's say that tomorrow, uh,
Mm-hmm.
by tomorrow I mean by tomorrow I mean in a different session, what we
Okay.
do is we discuss present simple, and we are going to discuss how to teach present simple in the classroom. So maybe there are a lot of
Brilliant.
things that I'm going to learn from you, and vice
Okay.
versa. So let's do that. So let's discuss that. You can take a little bit of help from the Google. Let's plan some activities, search some activities on Google. I will do the
Okay.
same thing, and we are going to discuss what are different activities that we can apply in our online classroom, because online classroom and our actual classrooms are two different things. So there are a
Yes.
lot of activities that we can apply in our online classroom. So what we do is we are going to discuss that in tomorrow. Tomorrow we can start a complete session, like a complete
Mm-hmm.
project. We can work on that, how to teach online, and how to teach present simple, how to teach tenses, how to teach different structures online with different activities. We are going to discuss that. It will be very, you can say, beneficial for me and beneficial for you as well,
For me as
and
well.
beneficial
Yes.
for our audience who are watching us. If there is a
Yeah.
teacher in our
They are more
audience, they
important.
can watch that, and they can also participate in the comment, and they can also share their opinions.
Yeah, the
All right.
audience are more
So, any
important.
more confusion? Let's wind it up. I don't want to make it
No,
very
no,
long.
no.
I
Thank you
feel
so much.
like yes, yes.
No,
So
thank you so
let's
much.
wind it up.
Everything was,
So perfect. So I hope.
yeah, perfect. Mhm.
So my dear audience, I hope you enjoyed our session. I hope you enjoyed our teachers talk. So see you in the next session. In the
Bye
next session,
bye.
what we are going to do is we are going to apply some grammar lessons, and we are going to discuss how to teach that grammar lesson in our online class. So if you enjoy the session, let me know in the comment that what's your opinion about it. And if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.
Subscribe our channel, definitely. You have to. Okay. Bye bye.